So I got this email. Dear Andrei, we look forward to seeing you next week. Signed, the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum. I was there. I met Klaus Schwab. But how? And why? Before we get into this video, I need to be very transparent and say that they have paid for my one-day stay in Geneva and they have paid for the tickets for my flight to their headquarters at the World Economic Forum. But all opinions are my own. The forum was not informed about the making of this video. They had no influence on the points I'm about to make in this video. They have no right for review or were able to make any changes regarding this whole content. All opinions are my own. On the other side, I'm also co-founder of one of the Global Shippers hubs, but that has no influence on my points I'm about to make. With the boring stuff out of the way, now let's get back to the story. So the event I was at was the celebration of the 10-year anniversary of the Global Shippers community. Being a co-founder of one of the hubs granted the organization a spot at the celebration, which happened at WEF. But let's backtrack a little bit. I threw quite a few names around and I didn't quite explain what they all mean. Let's start here. What is the Global Shippers community? According to their website, the Global Shippers community is a network of young people driving dialogue, action and change. Within the network, there's over 10,000 individuals in 148 countries in 457 cities. The role of this initiative, according to the World Economic Forum, is to encourage people to take the lead in the development of their own communities, while doing projects on topics like civic participation, climate change, education, and employment, all with a framework of lasting change. There is very little steering coming from the Global Shippers community on how to run your hub, but they do have only 3 rules. One is regarding the age limits. The Global Shippers community suggests an age range between 18 to 27. One is regarding the position of the curator, aka the leader of the hub, which should be changed annually in order to give as many individuals the chance to experience taking leadership at the local level and learning for themselves how to do leadership. And last but not least, they give you a logo, which they tell you just please don't interfere with it. Everything else, from who the members are, what projects you do, how you get your funding, what procedures you implement in your hub, who your local partners are, is up to you. And you can always be in touch with other hubs around the world to get their input on how they work in their cities, to get to know the members of the community and open up your own network. I recommend you check out this organization and you let others know about it. I'll leave the links in the description. But in their communications, Global Shipper community wants to make it clear that Global Shipper hubs are not affiliated directly with the World Economic Forum. It states that it is an initiative of the World Economic Forum. Speaking of which, the World Economic Forum is an NGO which defines itself as the international organization for private-public collaboration. The forum engages top-level political, business, cultural and other leaders of society to shape global, regional and industry agendas. According to their website, they believe that progress happens by bringing together people from all walks of life who have the drive and the influence to make positive change. So to translate that from English to English, the mission of the World Economic Forum is to bring as many leaders of society to the same table in order to talk about how to build the future. The thing that the World Economic Forum is most well known for is its annual meeting in Davos. You may have heard that phrase being tossed around called the Davos Man, which refers to the fact that usually attending this event are the most influential, most powerful and most rich individuals. We'll get back to that in a bit, but the forum also has other things that it does, like a book club, a CEO action group for the economical Green Deal, a lot of social media presence, a podcast, the Schwab Foundation for Social Innovators, and a global platform for geostrategic collaboration, among other things. But it didn't start like that. It was established in 1971 as a non-profit foundation and was founded by Klaus Schwab. It was first named European Management Forum. It changed its name to the World Economic Forum in 1987 and sought to broaden its vision to include providing a platform for resolving international conflict. In February 1971, Schwab invited 450 executives from Western European firms to the first European Management Symposium held at the Davos Congress Center under the patronage of the European Commission and European Industrial Associations, where Schwab sought to introduce European firms to American management practices. He then founded the World Economic Forum as a non-profit organization based in Geneva and drew European business leaders to Davos for the annual meeting each January. Political leaders soon began to use the annual meeting as a venue for promoting and negotiating their interests. The Davos Declaration, for example, was signed in 1988 by Greece and Turkey, helping them turn back from the brink of war. Its vision was to be independent, impartial, and not tied to any special interests. The forum states that it upholds ever since its foundation the highest standards of governance, moral, and intellectual integrity. I quoted that from their online presence. And as I said, the whole thing was the initiative of this guy, Klaus Schwab. By the time he started the World Economic Forum, he had already some accomplishments under his belt. He had graduated at Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, graduated summa cum laude from the University of Fribourg, got a doctorate in engineering, got a doctorate in economics, and he had a master's of public administration from Harvard University. And he had worked for 12 years, during which he had got positions of assistant to the Director General of the German Machine Building Association in Frankfurt, and he had been a member of the managing board of this company, a manufacturing company with activities in several countries and over 10,000 employees. With that education in engineering and economics and that first-hand experience in the private sector, he set out to officially start the World Economic Forum. He's also been a teacher along the years, which is why he's usually referred to as Professor Klaus Schwab. We also need to make a distinction. There's also this organization called Charles Schwab Corp, started by this guy, Charles Schwab. He's an American investor and pioneer in discount sales. Maybe a topic for another day. But they officially stated on Twitter that they have no affiliation with Klaus Schwab. After meeting Klaus Schwab, I can say he's a normal individual, a pragmatic idealist who seemed thoughtful in his speech. I was actually struck by his openness to address everything being asked. For me, the experience of meeting him in person was paramount for who I am today. I mean, he was my idol, and I do hope to be as nimble and as mentally flexible as he is at his age. And I hope to never retire, as he stated that he has no plans of retiring for the forum.
I plan for quite some time still to be at the use of this organization. People tell me, as long as I'm coming to the office on Monday morning with more ideas than they can digest, I still have my place here.
But remember how I said that we'll go back and talk about the Davos man? We need to address that. With everything going on at the forum, they need a lot of people. 800 to be exact, not even including corporations and government representatives. One thing we didn't address is how the forum makes money. It is a kind of a very expensive club. You have to pay a fee in order to become a member. For that membership, you get access to face-to-face meetings, Toplink, which is the World Economic Forum's platform for sharing ideas and engaging in conversations, the ability to interact virtually with other executives and committees, to exchange ideas and insights, and forum members have a year-round access to forum's experts from public office, non-profit organizations, and academia. But one of the biggest contentions is the ability of corporations to come to Davos and to paint themselves in this light of social responsibility. Another point of contention is their members, namely the fact that some governments may be diametrically opposed from some people's political compasses, and those may be very valid points. Just as an anecdote, Professor Schwab said that the forum does not allow their revenue to be more than 1% coming from one individual organization, so as not to nudge them in one direction or another. But this commitment to being the middle ground for everybody, the one place where national governments and globally relevant organizations meet, brings with it an inherent grayness. When you aren't taking sides, when you aren't leaning more towards black or towards white, you try to stay in a very middle, you are always gray. If you don't go out of your way to call out an action or to call out a particular policy, you will always be seated in controversy. Another thing you'll likely point out is their lack of a comment section on YouTube videos and the lack of continuous education and communication on why the forum needs to exist. I believe they could definitely do a better job at how they package the message of the forum, and at times their interaction with those strongly opposing the forum. I would like to point out, though, that the most important task of the forum is to have those conversations in the first place, and those roundtables. It doesn't excuse their behavior in any way, although I can personally understand why it would make more sense to not engage in conversations with those strongly opposing your view of the world, and instead spend more time on other more productive things. With that being said, do I believe the forum is perfect? Well, no. But no organization really is. Their structure seems to be approaching change at a very top of the top level through their annual meetings and at a very local level through the Global Shippers Community, while their other projects are tackling the in-betweens. But do they have a right to decide the future of humanity? Well, it's complicated and technically they aren't really deciding on anything. They aren't taking decisions on the behalf of governments. They aren't twisting organizations' hands in order to make sure particular actions do happen. As Professor Schwab said, and I'm paraphrasing, they are merely the priest on a Sunday service preaching about building a better world together and preaching about the commitment towards the betterment of the world. Whatever all of those organizations do after the preaching can't really be WEF's business unless they decide to break away from impartiality, which I'm sure you can imagine how that may create more problems. A better question might be, would I rather the forum didn't exist? After going to the forum and meeting some of the people working there in person, after meeting Klaus Schwab, after having conversations with individuals talking about thoughtful leadership, and after talking with people that tell me their goal isn't the acquisition of power, but rather to be a good parent for their kids, I'd say I'd much rather have the forum than not. In today's climate of radicalization, of heightened conflicts and internal turmoil, we need a place, an excuse to get everybody to the same table, to diffuse the conflicts before they get too big, to talk with a glass of champagne in our hands instead of talking with firearms. We need someone to at least get everybody on board and make our global conversations happen. For now is the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab, and for now they do get my vote of approval on the work that they do and the frameworks that they employ. Regardless of what you may believe about the World Economic Forum as an organization and its activities, may we all come together and share our agendas, individually, as organizations, and as countries. May we come together and talk about how we can build together a better future. May we stay committed to improving the state of the world. See you on SEO.